Hey, gang, it's Adam Von Romer, author, speaker, seminar leader, 35-year veteran of commercial real estate and founder of the Commercial Investment Real Estate Academy. This morning, we're going to talk to David Perlmutter, founder of QuantumListing. And as you all are well aware, I am always on the prowl looking for ways for us to promote our properties and expose ourselves that doesn't involve using CoStar or LoopNet. So I'm always looking for alternatives. I'm always looking for different venues that we can promote our listings and ourselves. And I like to use the little guys because you can have a relationship with these people. So David, say good morning to the gang, and then we're going to start our little slideshow, if that's all right with you.
Hi, Adam. Thank you very much for having me on today. And I really appreciate this opportunity to help spread the word about QuantumListing.
Yeah, spread the gospel, my friend. Spread the gospel.
Yeah, and we all know that word of mouth is the best form of advertising, and the best way for people to hear about you is from a friend. I remember, I guess we'll get into that in a bit. But tell me, you want me to start at the beginning?
Well, you know what? Let's start off by hopping over to the next screen, and ready, set, go. Here we go. Hey, tell me now. Tell me about QuantumListing. When did you get started? Why did you get started? And I mean, what was your thought process there?
Sure. So I started QuantumListing about 3 years ago, and it came as the result of my being a commercial real estate broker. You have a few years on me in the real estate business, and we're probably about the same age, but I started in 1986 as a commercial real estate salesperson. A few years, and I started doing office leasing, and when the office market went to heck up here, I started doing more retail leasing.
Right.
My broker's license in 1989. And at the same time, I was interested in starting on a development career that I worked for, had done residential development, and that market also went to hell in a handbasket.
It's funny how that happens, isn't it?
Yeah, people who are new to the industry who haven't lived through cycles. Have a lot to learn. After 2008, thankfully everything has been up, but I'm sure you and I have been through a lot of the same up and down cycles. And if you don't adapt, you die. So,
think about all the people that we used to know in the business over the last 30 years.
Yeah, and people who have reinvented themselves numerous times. Because of their desire to stay in the business. So you really have to be light on your feet here.
Well, tell me what was it that led you to decide that you needed to create another, let's say another listing service, for lack of a better term, but what was it that made you decide we needed QuantumListing?
So I was and still am, to tell the complete truth, a CoStar and LoopNet user. I remember Ed Gray telling me about LoopNet back in the 90s and saying, you got to try this. And I did, and I thought it was terrific. They eventually got acquired by CoStar, and for a while it was still terrific, but then it was terrific and really expensive. They tripled the fee for a company my size, and I was like, well, that's not very customer friendly. So, and I had been a developer during the 90s and sold off in the last 8 or 9 years most of the equity in the shopping centers that we had developed. So I was looking for a new way to sort of deploy equity and work on something that was creative and could use some of my energies in addition to working on the brokerage business, because I've always throughout my career have had sort of more than one thing that I do. So
you're a serial entrepreneur.
I am, and I come by it honestly. My dad was started in a little grocery store in Newark, New Jersey with his father, and ended up building that into a large public company called Supermarkets General, which was the parent company of Pathmark and a few other companies.
Oh, wow. I remember Pathmark. That was huge.
And Pathmark, he was unfortunately taken from this world way too young. He was just 50. But at the time, he was the president of the Supermarkets General, and it was a $2 billion company in 1978, which was the same size as Walmart back in 1978. And,
oh, that's huge.
So I definitely learned my entrepreneurial chops from him. And
cool.
So I really wanted to do something in addition to the brokerage. The brokerage is a great business, but unlike having equity in something, you got to do brokerage deals every year if you want to make that flow. And having the shopping centers is nice because it evened out your cash flow. So because of the changes in LoopNet and CoStar, I saw an opportunity, especially as they kept on doing more and more things that seemed more about their bottom line and being less customer centric.
Oh yeah. Well, I have a long-standing hatred of LoopNet because I got involved with them back in I want to say probably the late 90s. We as CCIMs had our own commercial information exchange that we ran out of Orlando, and a new company in the marketplace, LoopNet, comes to us and says, hey, we know you guys have all the listings, so here's what we propose. You guys give us all your information, all your listings, all your comps, all your information, and we'll give you our platform for free. And I went back because I was state technology chair, and I said, I was born in the morning, not this morning. And, anytime I hear the words free, I kind of get a little dubious of the outcome. And I recognized early on that when we give up our data, we're never getting it back, and it's going to become theirs. And, oh, no, we love you guys. We love you guys. So the group as a whole voted to go ahead and, give LoopNet all our data and then shut down our own CIE. And then I think it was probably about 3 months later, we get a message from LoopNet that they love us and they appreciate all our help, but now they're going to start charging us like $39 a year. And not too much of a hue and cry went up over that. But then about 6 months later, we got we still love you, but now it's $69 a year. Then we get a call probably 2 months later. The calls are getting closer together. And they say, well, no, we really love you, but it's $39.95 a month. And then the final call for me was when they called me up after I called them and said, why am I getting a $798 LoopNet bill charged to my Amex? And they're like, well, because you have so many, premium listings. I said, and? They goes, well, we're charging you $39 a month per premium listing. I said, oh, when did we agree to that?
Yeah.
Like, oh, we sent you an email. I'm like, yeah, shut that down right now. So that was my brush in the early 90s, mid 90s, I guess, with LoopNet and my experience there. But enough of that. Enough LoopNet bashing. Hey, tell me what we're looking at over here. I got the QuantumListing landing page up, I believe.
So one of the things that I love about QuantumListing, and there are many things, is that everybody who comes to our website can search every single one of our users' listings for free.
You don't hide any of them.
There is no paywall. You don't have to be registered. In the world that we live in, it's Google's world, and people and information is basically trending towards free.
Yeah.
And if somebody does a little homework, a little research, they can find on brokers' websites pretty much all the information you can find on a LoopNet or QuantumListing.
Sure.
But it takes more work. So, if you're motivated, you can find it for free anyway. So why not? And for me as a broker, what I want is for people to be able to find my information. I don't want them to have to jump through hoops and give their email address and register and this and that to just get a little information.
Right.
So we made from day one the decision to have everything be free. And just to go back one tiny step, when we started, it was really a iPhone app only. And people, like having their information with them wherever they go.
Sure.
But what I learned after a few months is that as much as they love their phones, they don't really love them as a data entry device. So that's when we built out the website.
Yeah. Now, hold on a minute now. When you get to reach the age of majority like us, and you require a pair of corrective lenses, and you have fat fingers, I can easily assure you that my phone is not a data entry device.
Yeah.
But if it is, it's going to be some colorful data. So here we're landing at the quantum listing. Anybody can search for free. There's no restrictions. Anybody can hop on for free. It's not like you got to be a premium searcher or you don't get to see everything. If you go there, you can look at anything.
That is correct, sir.
All right, beautiful. So, and I just popped up the free 3-month trial. So let's talk a little bit about that. So if anybody in the audience wants to take a look at it, look under the hood, all they've got to do is pop onto the landing page and go in here and register for themselves.
That is correct. You automatically get 3 months free.
Right.
And we give you opportunities to earn more free months if you recommend people, and even more months if the people you recommend sign on. So because we're trying to generate that word of mouth buzz, but we really want people to like it. We don't collect your credit card information.
I got to stop you right there. I absolutely have got to stop you right there. And I'll tell you, the one that drives me like batshit insane, and I can get away with that because this is my show, is when you log on and the only way you can get your free trial is to give somebody your credit card information, and then you have to remember what day you have to cancel before they whack you again for it.
That is correct. So we're not like Planet Fitness where they hope you forget to cancel and they keep thinking every month for $10. We want you to be a willing customer when you are a part, and we want to also really create a community around quantum listing too. So
I like the sound of that.
we really are very conscious. So we don't, as you can see, this is the sign up form. First name,
complex sign up form.
Yeah. It'll take you less than 2 minutes to do this. The trickiest thing here is the account type. There are 2 different account types, enterprise and individual. We've actually done something to make this a little more user-friendly in that if you accidentally pick an enterprise account, it's the same price if you're a single person as it would be if you clicked on the individual account. Enterprise accounts have more features which are designed for companies with multiple agents and marketing directors and admins.
Sure.
So we make that option available. And again, we don't want you to make a mistake and then regret it we can always change it, but it really at this point we don't even need to make that change. You can just live with your.
We live with the error of our ways, huh?
Yes, yes.
So now we're in, and this is where we get to set up our profile.
Absolutely. So we want you to add a profile picture if you, and you can add a logo, company logo as well. We want you to add your bio there, all these things. Oh, then you can also add your social media accounts as well.
Right.
So you can add your LinkedIn profile, here's the example of what you can do with your profile picture and bio. And I think the next slide probably has there we go.
Our social links.
In addition to your website, your YouTube channel, your Google Plus account, your LinkedIn page, your Facebook, and Twitter and Instagram. So all the places where you put information out there and is going to be accessible from your LinkedIn, your QuantumListing profile. Adding the profile picture and the biographical information also makes you a little more search engine visible.
Gotcha.
And we want it's great to have the information here, but if nobody can find you, it's not as helpful as if they can.
Understood. So now we get to the add the listing part. This is like my personal favorite. Yeah. I like to add listings.
Absolutely. And you know what? I like to archive them when they're sold or leased also. But adding listings, we tried to make as easy as possible. Being born as a mobile app, we wanted to make it as painless as possible to add listings.
Right.
So you can drag and drop your listing flyers. If that's all you want to do, you can add multiple pictures. You can browse for them on your computer. So that's easy. There are just a handful of mandatory items that that you need to put in. One is a listing title. We recommend that you put the building address in the listing title as well, also for search engine friendliness.
Right.
Then you can choose whether it's for sale or lease or both. Asset types, we have about 15, 17 different kinds of asset categories to choose from.
Nice.
The price, if you don't want to publish a price, you leave it as 0, and same with square feet available. You can leave that as 0, and then it shows up as inquire, which you can see in one of those pictures on to the left side of the screen. And then you put the date available, so which is a good way for people to know how fresh your listing is if they're going out and doing a search. And then you put the location. Also, it shows up after you start typing it in. It'll hopefully show up on a drop down, and we use a Google Maps widget, and that geocodes the listing.
Gotcha.
Makes it searchable.
Oh, I was going to say, even though you're making it virtually idiot-proof, my next question was going to be, what if you make a boo-boo? And guess what? Guess what our next slide is?
Edit. You can edit it. So you have 3 options with that particular link. One is to edit, which is fixing stuff really easy.
Right.
We hope that when you are done with your listing, because you sold it or leased it, or even if it's expired, you archive it rather than delete it. Archiving it has a couple of benefits. One, if the listing is ever reactivated, there's less data entry the second time around. And you can also make private notes on listings. So, and this way, say if you wanted to have a note saying, send a renewal invoice in 5 years, and put the date on it, that'll be accessible in your archive, and it's a nice record of what you've accomplished over time as well. And we have a brand new feature which is done since this deck. When you do go to archive or delete a listing, you have the opportunity to add it to our new comparable database.
Oh, beautiful. Well, can we walk through that real quick in a couple minutes? Do a little live walkthrough.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Well, here's another conversation you had about archived listings. So, literally, we're not only marketing our property, but we're helping to create and build out a comps database of active on-market product and product that's actually traded.
That is correct. And over time, that should become a really valuable resource. And we're not charging you extra for that. That's included in your basic membership.
Nice. Nice. Now, the next one up, I got a question for you. Now, when you say add managers, is this my marketing manager, or is this just another party to the deal?
Sure. So if you're a nice sized company like the one that you work with,
Mm-hmm.
and you have marketing people there, the admin can add people to the account to help with the workflow. So they get their own login, and they can add agents, add, edit, and delete agents, as well as add, edit, and delete and archive listings.
Gotcha. So here's our team now. We've added our agents and members.
That is correct.
Interesting.
Nice smiling face there.
Yeah, I was going to say I usually use my high school graduation picture, but anyhow, flying right along here. So other users can follow us quickly and find our listings. We got that.
Yeah. So this is terrific, because if there's somebody who you do a lot of business with, you follow them, you just come here to your profile, you find them, you click on their name, and you see all their listings.
So is that going back through like the LinkedIn and the Facebook stuff? Is that where that's coming from?
When you click on their name first, it will take you to their account profile, and you'll see if they've added their social media
Gotcha.
to their account. You'll see, and you can see on the left side of the screen there where you click on it to get.
Gotcha. Right here.
Yep.
Gotcha. So this is pretty robust.
Oh, and we'll see when we do the live demo that we've added some even more, since this is just from May.
But wait, there's more.
There's always more. The stream is another kind of interesting feature for the people that you are following. You can see the latest listings that they've added to the system in the stream. So it's just like another way to keep you informed about what's happening in your market or the markets that you are interested in, without having to do a lot of work and searching.
Interesting. So it's almost like a custom. Well, it is. It's a custom feed for product.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And when you're doing searching, you can save listings, particular listings. So if you're preparing a survey for a client and you want to, you're going through the site and you're saying, oh, I want to include this and that in it, you just click the little ribbon at the top of each listing card, and you'll be able to go back and find it in your saved listings on your account profile. Your account profile is your home base.
Understood. Now, you know what? Let me ask you a question while we're here. At some point in time, now let's just think about this. As you know, in your former incarnation as a leasing agent, is this going to let us put together maybe a tour report for a client?
Oh, yes.
This function?
Yes, it will. You can add listings, and I think it's probably coming up soon.
I jumped it.
Oh, what do we got here?
Here's our private notes.
Okay, here's private notes. But one of the next icon underneath that is the plus sign, which is to add a listing to a report. So what we're looking at on the left side is a detail page. So when you have a listing, when you're looking at it, you click on a listing card, the listing, you go to the listing detail page. This is detail of that. And that little gray ribbon has a bunch of neat features. The first one you can see is saving it to favorites. I'll bet you there's another slide that goes through each and every one of these things. It's fun. But the top one is save to favorites. The second one is really cool. Every listing, this is a little brackets, and that one is to add a listing to create a snippet of code called an iframe. And if you have a little bit of technical know-how, or somebody you know and love has technical know-how, they add that iframe to your website or to your blog and have that listing show up on your website or your blog. Perlmutter Properties, which is my brokerage, uses QuantumListing to serve each and every one of our listings to our website.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So it's almost like you're syndicating your own listings right out of your own system.
That is correct. So, and then with that, you create a web page for each listing. So then, what you are now looking at is analytics. You can go onto your profile page and click on the analytics button and see at any given time sort of the real-time update on how many views your listings have gotten, either on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, or all time. And account views shows the number of views your profile's gotten. If you're an enterprise account, it shows you how many times your agents have gotten noticed. There's also analytics for the number of times that your listings have been shared, either by social media or email, and also the number of times that your listing PDFs have been downloaded. And I'm sure you're asking yourself, what if I don't have my own marketing department that does beautiful PDFs for me? QuantumListing will actually create a listing PDF for you based on the images and information that you have added, and it includes a little map. That's
nice. You know what? I was just going to ask you this question, and it's funny, but there it is. Because I was going to say, David, what if I want to just see one of my things is I put together a workshop called the 8 Secrets to Maintain or Satisfy Sellers, Cash More Commission Checks, etc. And one of my main contentions is that agents don't keep in contact with the sellers. And one of my best practices is I put together what I call the listing retention letters, one of which is a letter that says, this is how many times your property's been seen. And I was going to ask you, is there any way we can get those analytics individuated for each listing? And guess what? Voila.
Yes, and it's in real time. So the other thing I like about having those analytics available is if you see your numbers languishing, don't blame it on us, blame it on yourself. And maybe it's time to get your listing shared to social media. Maybe it's time to do an email of your listing and type to here. So having those numbers available is a great way to remind yourself that just putting it there and letting it sit isn't really the job. The job is
plop it in the MLS and hoping something's going to happen is not commercial real estate. Yeah. Now this, I think, was what we just talked about, where we talked about adding a favorite, creating that iframe snippet, etc.
That is correct, sir.
You got, as I say, you got a little ahead of us on that one, but there that is.
But there's one thing we didn't cover, which is that red dot with the weird triangle there.
Yeah.
And that is the sharing icon.
Is that this?
Holy cow, it is. Wow. You're good. So we made it really easy when you do see those numbers languishing, or even if you don't, because a lot of you out there are proactive, you can get that listing onto your Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Google Plus account really, really easily just by clicking that button and then hitting send.
And
And
you know what? That's 5 of my listing retention letters right there.
yeah.
Yeah, dear David, I put your property out on Twitter today. Yeah, I put it on Facebook. Yeah, I put it on my LinkedIn profile. Right there. Not only are you creating the units of activity, but you've got another bite at the apple for the seller saying, hey, seller, look, this is what all we're doing on your behalf.
Yeah. And people, believe it or not, really do click on those listings when they show up on the social media. One of the nice things that we do, and there's probably a slide that I'm jumping ahead on, is that through the magic of marketing automation, we share every single one of your listings to social media.
Gotcha.
To our social media accounts.
Right.
So now it's interesting. We've ramped up the volume of people adding listings every day. We've bumped up against some of the limits. So through the internet and the internet tools available are incredible. We use 2 tools, which I highly recommend to your viewers, Zapier and Buffer, to help with this process. Right. And so when you add a listing, it goes Zapier. We have an RSS feed, which stands for really simple syndication. Gotcha. For our listings. And Zapier picks up on that RSS feed and sends it right away to Twitter. And then it gets scheduled to be sent to Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google Plus, which have greater restrictions on the number of posts you can put out there in a single day. But eventually it's going to go out there, and people will see it. And it's kind of nice, that you have over time mediums, and hopefully it will inspire users to be active in social media and post their listings there as well.
I got to tell you something. I am really, and I shudder to say this, but I'm really digging on this because this is like a power tool, and I'm serious. I am digging on this. I think this is a really cool product, and I think it's going to help, like I said, overthrow the evil empire. At least that's my desire, anyhow. So let's talk about searching now.
Yes, sir.
Imagine that. Search by location or user.
Yes. So search by location is the default search. And you can, right now, as of today, we have maybe 4,500 or so listings in the system. So until we get to a real critical mass, there may be some location searches that come up blank, but we're going to get there. I mean, I called Walmart every day for 2 years to get them to come to my site in Hyde Park, New York, back when I was in my 20s. And one of my shopping centers took 6 years to go from concept to construction. So I'm used to things taking a long time and having to work really hard to get them through. And we've built a great product, and I am determined to, with the help of guys like you, to get this information out there so that people can appreciate what we've done and see it.
Yeah, sheer force of will.
Yeah. So because something, when you just type in a location, you then want to narrow down or expand the search. You can adjust the radius, search by asset type, filter by asset type, the deal type. It was available, the number of square feet available, and the price. And then, so that makes searching very easy. The search by users is if you're a listing regular, you'll be able to go back and there's a little location icon at the top next to the search bar. So if you click on that and switch to the user search, I can switch by to Adam.
Click user. There's our filter.
By Adam von Romer, because I know that he's got Green Turtle Plaza in Florida and for sale, and but I can't remember what town it's in. So this makes it a little easier for me to
get that. Nice, nice. Well, the thing is, then we could take that giant salami of 4,500 and slice and dice it, and really get it down to what we need. So that's pretty cool. I like that feature too.
Yeah, and I gotta say, right now we are. I would say an average day now seems to be we're getting 30 or 40 new listings a day. There are days when we have I'll jump the gun a little bit. We just started a integration last week with buildout.com.
Okay.
Buildout does beautiful marketing material, and you can now select us as a syndication partner from Buildout, and then you just check some boxes by the listings you want to include. So we've had people had 150 listings at a single shot. So since then, less than a week that we've had this going, and added hundreds of new listings since then, which has been really exciting for me. So just as you can share every single listing, you can do the same with your profile. That little gray triangular icon, if you click on that, you'll be able to share your profile.
Little doodad right there?
Actually, those are the click through to your social media. But the one just to the left of the Google Plus sign, if you
that little triangle with the balls on it.
Apparently, that is the new universal symbol for sharing.
Who decided that?
I don't know. It's out there.
Okay. Well, look, there's an example of sharing.
Yeah. Now, the nice thing about sharing, so when it generates a little piece of code, my Perlmutter Properties website is on WordPress. I know enough about WordPress to be dangerous, so I was able to figure out that I can take that code, paste it into my company website, and every change that I make on my QuantumListing site profile gets automatically updated into my Perlmutter Properties website. So it's been a great way for me to share my listings on my website without having to go through the process which I used to, which was I would send a new site to my designer. She would design the page, get me to approve it, send it to the coder, and then the coder would do it. And I was spending a couple $100 probably for each listing that I was adding to my website in the old way I was doing it, and it would take a couple of weeks to get it done. And now it happens pretty much instantaneously. It takes a few minutes to add the listing to QuantumListing, and then boom, it's on my website. Now I've also added individual pages for each listing, and it's possible that the next slide shows that. Let's have a
yeah.
Oh, there it is. So here's a bank, a former bank in Yonkers that we're subleasing, and we can pretty much instantly create a page for our website with this. So I have to create a page, I paste in the code, and that's all I have to do. That's
that iframe you talked about earlier.
That is correct. And here you can see that the main image here is a link to a YouTube video. So you can go in and click on that, and it'll show you the YouTube video in that little window.
Nice, nice. Well, now coming soon to networks, huh?
Well, that's the advantage of time. Networks are here.
Splendid.
Networks are here. So when you join, we assign you to a network. And if you add listings, we'll do it based on your geographic area. And if you don't have any listings added yet, we do it based on your telephone area code.
Okay.
And if you're signing up with Gmail, we don't really know where you are. But if you're using your company email address, then we can figure it out. This is something that we actually do manually behind the scenes. We do have a option for you to request to be added to other networks. You can join other networks. And what happens in these networks, I will show you when you turn over the control.
Well,
I'll show you what
say, why don't you go ahead and throw your screen up? Because I think this would be a good time for that.
Okay.
And show some of those cool new features we were talking about too.
Okay, here we go.
Ready, set, go.
Here is QuantumListing. This little icon up here in the top right corner is how you get to your account profile page.
Right.
And so I'm gonna let me just zap that. You can still see my screen, right? I didn't mess things up.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I can see your screen perfectly.
So, and your account profile page is your home base.
Right.
So this is how I'm gonna, if I wanted to change my profile, I would click on edit there.
Sure.
And here are those icons, so we can go to my YouTube channel, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, etc. And here's that sharing. I'll show you what the iframe code looks like here. So it's really just this little thing. You may have to adjust the height in it, but it's really just typing in 1,000, 2,000 rather than 100% to get it to be whatever fits appropriately on your website or blog. And here's that network button.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a member of a bunch of different networks, and here I can join. And if you as an individual user want to create your own network, all you got to do is contact us and we'll let you set up a network.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll have a peek into one of the networks here. And so and there's going to be tomorrow another filter here where you'll be able to search by location. You can, in another site that I'll show you using the iframe, you can see that, but a little late on our part on this one. But but you can sort the listings by the price and the size as well. Sure. You can whether it's released or for sale. For you people in California who do per square foot monthly, we've got that option available for you. I can save that listing and we'll be able to see that soon. Mm-hmm. I can add to a report. Mm-hmm. And we'll go back and have a look at that. And then, of course, you can click through to a listing card and see the detail page. There's a little map. You can even go to Street View because we use Google Maps plugin. We love that. The demographics, what we do here, just because we want to continue to be a low-cost provider, we allow you to click through to the United States Census Bureau demographics and filter that out for what you want to find there.
Sure.
All right, so let's have a look at the listing report. You can hyperlink. It's hyperlinked to that listing detail page, and then you can add as many listings to this report as you want. You have the opportunity to download the report. You can email it to yourself or a customer, and you can also get another way to share listings on your website or blog is create an iframe of your listing report, so it will show up as a web page as well.
So let me ask you this: if you go ahead and print or download this, does this slap like a cover page on for you or anything like that, or is it just going to be like a stack of the properties?
I will show you. We're waiting for QuantumListing to provide it. There it is. Let's have a look. So I have apparently had other things queued up to be added to my listing report. Yeah, so this is what the listing report looks like. And then you can, this is a PDF version, so that's why it's not hyperlinked here.
Sure. That's not shabby, man. It's not shabby. That's a pretty concise looking report.
Yeah. And then when you're done with it, you click the garbage can and you go back. So
Interesting. Now you said you had a couple other neat features, new stuff that you wanted to talk a little bit about.
Network listings is just another way to see the latest changes, the latest listings in your network.
Gotcha.
Network news tells you who's been up to what in your network.
Okay.
Here's our comparable data, which again, we're just getting started with this, so there's not a lot of info in there yet. We're still working on that. Syndication channels. This is build out is our first one. We are working with Real Connects on a similar type of syndication channel, which will be done in the fall. It would have been done sooner, but they're revamping their site. One of the things that I'd like to have QuantumListing be is sort of like the center of an ecosystem of different products that tie into us, and sort of like a grand vision for the future. So whatever you use, whether it's your CRM or other services, that you'll be able to have them work very comfortably with QuantumListing.
Understood.
And we talked about notes briefly. Yeah, I'll show you an example. Here are the notes. Then go back and see it and have the note available.
Interesting.
One other thing that we're in the process of doing now, and this should probably be rolling out in the next 30 days, is groups. So networks are sort of like a top-down approach to putting people together. And in the future, when you have, when we roll out the groups, you, Adam, will be able to say, there are like 8 or 10 agents and brokers that I do a lot of business with, and all the whole network is great, but I just want to see what Mary and John and Alice and Fred are up to. So similar to the networks, you'll be able to form a group and just see what they're up to. It's sort of a more streamlined version of what you do by following and using the screen.
Sure.
And we're going to
the micro rather than macro version.
Yeah, and we'll be able to have chat functions in that as well, and hopefully some email stuff in there. So it should be a pretty neat way of doing some work.
Sure.
One of the other things I definitely want to point out to everybody is that we make it easy for you to invite people to come use QuantumListing and to join. I remember when I first joined LoopNet, it was because Ed Gray, the guy in the office next to me, is now in Dania Beach, Florida. I don't know how close you are to him, but Ed's a terrific guy.
About 30, not even 30, how about 20 minutes due east.
Yeah. So Ed told me I had to try LoopNet, and I took him up on his advice, and I was at first a very happy LoopNet user, and we've already walked down that road about where that's gone. But that's brought us to where we are today, so I guess that's a good thing. So you can just add email address of one or more people and send them a little note saying, this is fantastic. I really think you should try it. You get a free trial, and just hit send, and it will be good for QuantumListing, and hopefully your friends will thank you for it later.
They'll be lavish in their praise for me.
Yeah. So I want to show you one of the other things that we did here, and it's a way of showcasing our networks. So we created a little sister website. Hold on, I gotta. All right, so we created something called Listing NFX. NFX is shorthand for the network effect, and The network effect, for those who don't know, is that when people use a product, the more people that are using that product, the greater the value that product then has. Think of the telephone as the great example of the network effect.
Mm-hmm.
When you were the only person you knew who had the telephone, it wasn't all that great, but once everybody got them, it was unbelievable. So, and so what we've done is we've created pages for each one of our networks, and here, as you can see, you can search by location, and so it works. And this is once again powered by an iframe, the magic of iframes, and just like another kind of neat way for people to be able to see what's going on in quantum listing and find your listings. Other things that we've done that are kind of neat are we've created a news feed powered by our good friends at the News Funnel. By the way, if any of your users want to create another reason for people to come to your company website regularly, the News Funnel gives you these news feeds for free, and you can set them up really easily on your website. And I encourage you to do that, because having people come to your website on a regular basis is a beautiful thing.
It's not a bad thing, right?
Yeah. And here you can see an example of our Twitter feed. Sure. This one is one that was buffered, and the ones these other listings are ones that are coming out, and some of them are coming out in real time as they're added to Quantum Listing. And for all those knowledge thirsty people out there, and Adam, I got to make sure I add your different channels here, because I'm not sure if they are. We created a directory of commercial real estate podcasts and videos.
Cool.
And I told you when we were emailing back and forth this morning, I was at the gym, and what I was doing at the gym, I was watching one of your videos. So
I hope it wasn't anything embarrassing.
No, it was fantastic. It was really actually very inspirational, and I think I'm going to recommend that all my salespeople watch it. So
that's a very kind comment.
Yeah.
That's very kind of you. Well, you know what, David, I told you this was going to happen too. I told you this was going to happen. It's 4 minutes to the hour.
Wow.
Remember, I said we're going to get on, we're going to get talking, and by the time we get warmed up, the hour's over. So here's what I'd like to do with your permission, sir.
Yes.
I'd like to take back the ball here. I'd like to throw our quantum listing page up here again.
Okay.
And I think the last page we've got to talk to or speak to is we got to talk about the rock bottom bargain basement price. And I'm gonna go ahead and put what I've got up here. And I want to be abundantly clear. That is not per month. That is per year.
And it's per year, and it is for an unlimited number of listings. If you have one listing, it's $79.99 a year. If you have 100 listings, it's $79.99 a year. And every single listing is treated democratically, equally. We're not having gold, platinum, diamond listings. When you add your listing,
strontium listings,
the kryptonite listings.
That's well. Here's what I'm going to suggest, and I'll follow up with you on this offline. I'm going to pop. So $79 a year for individual users. This is how we get a hold of you.
Yes,
David at QuantumListings.com, or the number's 914-470-5719. Ladies and gentlemen, David, I got to tell you that in case you haven't picked it up in some of my videos and stuff, I'm on a mission. I am going out and I am proselytizing for anything that can break the stranglehold on the, I jokingly call it the evil empire, anything at all. And from what I've seen, and what you've showed me with quantum listing, I don't need LoopNet anymore. I want to be an early adopter. I want to help build this thing out. And I think that the product, the price, and the timing couldn't be better. I really believe that. So I'm going to do my best to spread the gospel, if you will. And, I think what you've got here is a really cool alternative. And in many ways, a superior alternative to, like I said, the loop stars of the world, as I jokingly call them.
Yeah. Oh, so, thank you.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely not. No, you're more than welcome. So listen, everybody, it's now 11:59. My promise to you is I get you out of here by 12 today. David, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is a tremendous meeting. I know we goofed around a little bit, had a little bit of fun, but I think you also showed and showcased quantum listing, and showed us that there's a really solid alternative out there. Anybody listening and anybody that's going to see this, in subsequent YouTube or other videos, make sure you reach out to David at david@quantumlistings.com. Give it a try. It's not going to cost you a dime. And think about it. As an early adopter, you're helping build out something that's going to be paying dividends for years. So with that, David, again, thank you so very much for joining me today. Really appreciate it. Love the product. I'm going to spread the gospel. And I will speak to you all on our next webinar.
Thank you.
Have a great day, and I wish you all continued success.
Thanks, and bye-bye.
See you, David.